In the martial world, there were good clans which fought for justice, and evil ones which clashed with the good ones. One of the evil clans, Cult, kept growing stronger, which posed a great threat to the world. So, 9 of the good clans came together to form the Justice clans to take down Cult. The battle was fierce, but in the end, the Justice clans wiped out many Cult members. They then confronted the leader, the darklord, Bashan, who wasn't scared and didn't see anything wrong with his sect. He also didn't understand why he was being attacked. The Justice clans explained that they invited him to join the Martial League, but he refused by clapping their messenger. Bashan defended himself, saying that the messenger harassed one of his disciples. However, the Justice clans didn't believe him and asked him to ice guy himself if he had any sense. But Bashan wasn't scared to face them in battle. He believed that he was invincible after all. The Justice clans then charged at him and attacked him. Bashan was so confident that he could win, and if he couldn't, he would rather turn into a salted fish. Unfortunately, he actually did turn into a salted fish just like he had thought. So, it seemed that he couldn't win against the Justice clans, and now he lives his life as a fish 13 years later. He still lives in the ruins of Cult headquarters atop a mountain with his son, Renji, far from everyone. One day, he hears someone entering the house and gets so scared, hiding behind his throne. Lucky for him, it's just Renji who has come back from the shops under the mountains. Bashan comes out excitedly when he sees that it's his son. He hugs and kisses him in excitement that he has returned. He was worried that something might have happened to him when he took about 6 minutes to return home. Renji explains that it's fine because he only went down to buy some food. Bashan is scared that Renji might accidentally reveal that he is little darklord and get clapped. Renji doesn't see the big idea about that and tells him that the area under the mountains is lively with lots of people. He wants to stay and hang out a little longer next time he goes. He asks for permission from Bashan, but Bashan refuses, saying that it's too dangerous. He's scared that the Justice clans, the villains of his story, might capture him. Renji tells him that the Justice clans has good people, because he saw them help the elderly and disadvantaged people. However, Bashan tells him that they are only good to the common people. They are very brutal to all Cult disciples, including the elderly and disadvantaged. Renji gets scared to hear this. He can't believe that there are some Cult disciples who have already been captured by the Justice clans. Bashan tells him the story of how he decided to hide in the ruins in order to survive. Now, things have quietened down because the Justice clans are growing stronger. There's no chance for Cult. He's also scared that if he gets caught, Renji will be left alone and helpless. Renji hears this story and cries. Bashan tells him that the only solution for him to survive is to conceal his true identity. He has to earn a certificate of the good and become a Justice clan too. When he inherits Cult, it will automatically be classified as a Justice clan. The certificate of the good is given by the Martial League, and with it, Renji will be able to lead a better life. He can set up his own clan, get a mortgage loan, and live freely. Renji asks if Cult can't just fabricate the certificate, and Bashan says no. He wants him to work hard for the certificate because it's his fate. He even found him a prestigious school in the martial world, the Justice League Academy. It offers 9 years of education with excellent teachers, advanced teaching ideas, cheap tuition, canteens, as well dormitories. The Justice League Academy has been established for more than 100 years. The Academy used to be for the Martial League, but after the Justice clans eliminated Cult, the Academy has become a place to foster Justice swordsmen. Only those who are exceptional and talented can graduate and get certificates of the good authenticated by the Martial League. Renji can go down the mountains for the enrollment process immediately. Renji becomes excited to go down the mountains. He prepares himself immediately. Bashan warns him to never reveal his darklord identity. And to be extra safe, he has arranged for Cult's right-hand man and master of disguise, Li Donfang, to escort Renji and protect him at all costs. Li and Renji quickly leave to go down the mountains as Bashan says his goodbyes. Renji wants to succeed in his studies and get the certificate of the good and reform Cult. He and Li arrive at the academy and are impressed by its look. There's a line of students waiting to enroll too, and Renji joins in. A guard addresses them to line up consciously and prevent any Cult disciples from entering the premises. He repeats that they must strictly guard for safety, so that no Cult disciple can enter the campus. He even addresses any Cult disciples that may hear him to not take any chances. If they discover any Cult disciples, they will execute them instantly. Renji and Li become extremely nervous, but they stay in the line. The door to the campus opens, and a boy comes out flying from it. He asks why he was hit, explaining that he's not a Cult disciple. The man who threw him out is the chief of guards, Kang, and one of the teachers at the academy. He appears and points out that the boy has a big cult character on his chest. The boy starts to flex his other character on his back, saying that he designed the suit he's wearing himself. The other character says Tom, and together with the first character, the suit says Coltum. That's the boy's name. Kang doesn't buy it though, so he suplexes Coltum right then. This scares Renji and Lee. Kang asks the other guards to take Coltum to the cult slaughterhouse, which scares the duo even more. The announcing guard keeps repeating that cult disciples shouldn't try their luck because they'll die if they are discovered. Renji asks Lee what they should do, and Lee tells him to calm down because they don't have any cult symbols on them. Unfortunately, other guards arrive while hitting the gong, announcing that the son of the Darklord has showed up to the martial world again. They even have a dummy dressed as Renji to alert people to report anyone who's wearing the same clothes. Renji has never felt so scared and so defeated before. Some people get pulled out of the line because they are wearing similar clothes. Kang sees Renji, who is crying, and asks him to stand up. Renji is so scared to do that, so Lee decides to take care of the matter before it's too late. He disguises Renji as a pretty girl right there. Kang and the others are left stunned and blushing while looking at the new Renji. Kang feels flustered and embarrassed by how Renji is dressed, so he asks him to get inside the campus immediately for being inappropriate. Renji does so with a disguised Lee, having skipped the authentication. Renji doesn't understand why he has to disguise as a girl, so Lee explains that no one will suspect him as Little Darklord if he's a girl. This makes sense, so Renji decides to stick with it. Right then, a spear comes down on them, but they dodge in time. The girl who threw it seems to know that they are cult members and asks them to surrender. The girl is Yu Mingju. She's the daughter of the Martial League leader and the director of Discipline Department. Renji starts shaking in fear again. Lee thinks he has no other choice but to fight Mingju to protect Renji. Surprisingly, Mingju thinks that Lee has disguised himself as a woman to harass the poor girl, Renji. She knows he's from cult, but she doesn't think Renji is also from cult, so she aims her spear at Lee. Lee decides to reveal his identity and play along with what Mingju is saying. He pretends to give up harassing Renji and lets him go over to Mingju. He asks her how she knew he was from cult, and she replies that it's because he's a rough-looking man in women's clothing. She decides to attack him, and he defends himself. He's too strong for her, but she doesn't back down. Renji is also worried that Lee might hurt Mingju, but Lee telepathically reassures him that he won't. When Mingju realizes that she can't bring Lee down, she decides to use her Kai. But before she can, a boy, Saiyan, suddenly appears from the sky and attacks them. Lee uses this chance to get away from there and leave Renji behind. He, telepathically, tells him to be careful with his identity before disappearing. Mingju and Saiyan argue about Saiyan creating too much dust that let Lee get away. Renji comes to thank Saiyan for saving him, and Saiyan introduces himself. But Mingju doesn't let him finish because she's mad at him for letting Lee get away. Saiyan replies that if it wasn't for him, the two girls would have been in danger. This makes Mingju even more furious because she's stronger than Saiyan. Renji doesn't know what to do in this awkward moment, so he tells them that he's going ahead first. Mingju decides to go with him by taking his hand and leading him away from Saiyan. Saiyan stops them and asks for a toilet paper if they have it. He wants to go to the toilet. Renji gives him his silk scarf and tells him to keep it. Saiyan is moved with this kindness and warm-heartedness. He asks for Renji's name because he wants to be friends with him. Before Renji can reply, Saiyan runs away to the toilet because he can't hold it in anymore. Mingju is not impressed with him. She's not impressed with any man for that matter. She hates them and doesn't understand why they even exist. Renji is scared by Mingju's hatred for men because he's also a boy. Mingju takes his hand and holds him close to her, telling him that she prefers girls because they are honest and adorable. She asks for Renji's name. Renji is so nervous that he actually tells her his real name. She compliments it and introduces herself, telling him that he can ask her for help at any time. She even offers to escort him to the entrance ceremony venue. Renji declines the offer. He wants to go alone so he can quickly change back into his clothes before more people see him as a girl. But Mingju doesn't let him. She forcefully drags him to the venue on her own. As they walk, Mingju suddenly stops to ask him how much he knows about cult. Renji becomes nervous and tries to deny knowing anything about cult. Mingju brings out a portrait of him and asks who it is, which makes him start to panic, thinking he's been found out. Mingju then tells him that the portrait is of the Darklord's son, who's 14 years old. She describes him, his favorite food, and that he's guarded by Lee, a master of disguise. However, even with this much information, she doesn't know his name, which is why he hasn't been caught. Renji is relieved when he realizes that Mingju doesn't think he's the culprit. She hates men so much that she couldn't accuse a cute girl like Renji of being one of them. She also has a condition which makes her forget people's faces. Renji is so relieved that he's panting heavily for getting away with this. Mingju notices this and feels bad for revealing such scary information to Suchin. She decides to be careful in the future in order to protect her new friend. She tells him to calm down as the little darklord will be found soon. Renji asks what she'll do when she finds him. She replies that she'll give him her special hospitality, which, in Renji's mind, looks like a butcher at work. He becomes so scared of her that he decides he won't ever let his identity be known. They then hurry to the entrance ceremony before they miss it. They reach the venue and Mingju tells Renji that she's going to help with the activities. She'll meet him after the ceremony. After she has left, Renji looks around by himself and is amazed by everything and the many people there. He thinks everyone looks very friendly and that he'll be able to make friends soon. The ceremony starts and Mingju announces it. She introduces the headmaster, Master Fate, who will deliver a speech. The headmaster comes out and starts speaking, impressing everyone who looks up to him, including Renji. He congratulates them for getting admitted to the school and introduces himself again. All of this is taking so long that the crowd starts to lose interest and falls asleep, except for Renji, who is still marveling at the headmaster. Mingju reminds the headmaster to be quick, so he jumps to asking the crowd to recite their motto, which starts with, "Our aim is to eliminate cult members." This is the most aggressive motto Renji has ever heard. They continue to chant that they will fight any cult disciple they meet to the death. Renji is so scared for his life. He realizes that his father was right about the Justice clans being scary people. He decides to sneak away right then before he gets found out. But there are guards at the gate, and they are scary too. So, he goes back into the crowd to hide there and shake in fear. After, the headmaster asks them to raise the flag, which is the dummy with Renji's clothes. Mingju shoots it with a torch arrow and sets it on fire. The crowd cheers. Renji is terrified because the dummy is him. If he's ever found out, he'll burn like it too. The head of the dummy pops off and flies up to the sky to release fireworks and a ball called the fake ball. Everyone wants to catch the ball because they'll get a gift if they do. But Renji is looking at the gate in order to make an escape. He runs out of the crowd and makes it near the gate. Before he reaches it, the ball bounces off the hands of the crowd and makes it to his hands. The next thing he knows is that he's on stage with Mingju and the headmaster to give a speech. He was the lucky one, so he must be honored with a gift. The crowd cheers for him, but he is panicking because he thinks he's going to be found out. Mingju announces that this year's gift is a wooden sculpture of the headmaster. She hands Renji the sculpture and Renji asks what else because he's not impressed. Mingju replies that's it. The sculpture equals to 10 years of the headmaster's cultivation. The crowd becomes jealous because this is a big deal. The previous year, they only received a restaurant voucher, and the year before that was the headmaster's wig. Renji is still nervous, but Mingju tells him not to worry because she's there with him. She then asks him to introduce himself and his sect to the crowd. Renji starts panicking again. He quickly says his name, and that he has no sect. The crowd is confused because he managed to get into the academy without a sect. Mingju tells them that anyone except for cult members can study there. The headmaster comes to Renji to test his cultivation aptitude before he transfers his Kai to him. He tells him that he shouldn't worry about whether it's yin or yang, because he can make it harmonious, even if it's cult cultivation. Renji becomes scared when he hears this and pulls away his hand in fear. He steps back, saying that he wants to work hard by himself without the help of the headmaster. The headmaster tells him that they have a deep fate, so this is a must. He channels his Kai to his hand and asks Renji to accept his cultivation. This is a must. But Renji gets too scared and runs away. The headmaster has to chase him around the stage to transfer the Kai. The crowd is impressed by Renji's determination and feel inspired to become better on their own too. The headmaster becomes tired and stops chasing Renji. Renji tries to walk away, but the headmaster stops him. He decides to give him a long-distance transfer of the cultivation, which knocks him to the ground. Mingju quickly checks on him and finds that he feels fine. She explains that the headmaster is a persistent person and will find a way to achieve what he wants no matter what. Renji is still impressed by the cultivation because it makes him feel relaxed, but he quickly realizes that he feels relaxed because his fake chest has fallen out of his clothes and is on the ground. Mingju and the crowd are stunned to see this too. Some of them even start thinking that Renji might be a male cult disciple pretending to be a girl. Renji starts to feel like his time has come to an end. He starts regretting leaving the mountains in the first place. If he had just stayed home with his dad, he wouldn't be this humiliated. Mingju stands in front of him and defends him for having a flat chest, but the crowd doesn't care for her speech. They want proof that Renji is not a dude with a cute face. Renji is still panicking. He knows that if he tries to prove it, he'll just prove them right. Mingju decides to give them proof by kissing him, shocking everyone there. She says that because she hates men, the fact that she kissed Renji and is still fine is proof enough that Renji is a girl. Renji is still flustered, but relieved that the crowd will let it go now. After everything, Renji starts to panic about the kiss. He doesn't think he can face Mingju now. Mingju comes to ask him if he's hiding anything else from her. Renji says no, so she tells him to never hide anything from her again. Renji accepts. He's too scared to say anything else. She takes him to do the placement test. When they get there, she explains that the test is to examine students' foundations, and based on their grades, they will be placed in their respective classes. The top, advanced, and common class. If they fail the test, they can get expelled. Right then, the examiner of the placement test arrives, Kang, the chief of the guards. He tells the students that they will be called one by one to come and introduce themselves. The first one to be called is Mingju, and she's from the Mount Hua sect. Renji is amazed by her because she knows so much about the school, even though she's a freshman as well. Mingju explains that she grew up in the academy because her sect is very close with the Justice League. The last one to introduce themselves is Renji. He nervously says his name and that he doesn't have a sect. Kang looks down on people with no sects. He doesn't understand why the academy even allows them. They then move on to the tests. The first one is a speed test with a time limit of 30 minutes. They have to run 50 laps around the tournament stage. But Renji has to run 100 laps because he doesn't have a sect. Kang is hoping that he will drop out immediately, but Renji finishes the 100 laps in an instant, surprising him. Mingju comes to Renji, tired from the running. She tells him that she wasn't able to catch up to him because he was too fast. She thinks it could because Renji has the headmaster's cultivation. Kang is surprised to hear this because he wasn't there when Renji caught the fate ball. He gets mad and silently vows to eliminate him in the next round. The third test is a tactical test. The students have to throw 3 knives at a target, and if one of the knives hits the target, they will pass. When it's Renji's turn, he throws all 3 knives with ease and hits the bullseye. This impresses all the students but not Kang. He decides to fail Renji anyways. Mingju stands up for Renji because that's not how it should work, but Kang tells her that as the chief examiner, he can do whatever he wants. He can assign her to the common class if she doesn't shut up. Mingju doesn't want that, so she stops talking. Suddenly, another student attacks Kang with sunflower seeds. It's by Rhyming from the Sunflower sect who hates unfairness and has a loud attitude. Kang doesn't know who she is and why she's suddenly there. She introduces herself and advocates for justice for Renji because he's excellent. She asks if Kang will fail her too, because she's speaking up for someone else. Kang asks her what her scores were for the previous tests. Rhyming replies that she failed both of them, meaning that she's already in the common class. Kang doesn't want to hear her and her unknown sect. He dismisses her. Rhyming tells him that her sect was very popular even before Kang was born. It was well known in the martial world. Kang starts to think that maybe Rhyming has some amazing techniques if she's so confident in her sect despite failing. He decides to challenge her, and if he wins, he wants her to leave the academy immediately. Rhyming agrees and says that if she wins, she wants Kang to acknowledge Renji and apologize to him. They take their positions, and Rhyming takes her time to get over to Kang and attack. When Kang asks her why, she just asks him to relax because she's still preparing herself. It's evident that she's actually scared and isn't that strong. Kang gets angry and beats her up immediately. Rhyming is in pain and accepts defeat right away. Kang then remembers the Sunflower sect, which was led by Rhyming's father. Rhyming holds her father at high esteem as one of the best fighters of their style, but Kang tells her that he was okay. He was the best at running away and getting beaten up. Rhyming gets mad at Kang for saying this, but Kang doesn't care because he thinks their sect is trash. Rhyming is hurt and tries to fight Kang again, but Kang throws her against the ring of the stage and calls her a coward's daughter. Rhyming can't help but cry, which touches Renji, reminding him of his father. Rhyming's father used to take care of her, while Renji used to take care of his father. He relates to her story and responsibility to carry their sects. Rhyming gets up to continue fighting because she wants to make a name for her sect. Kang becomes angry and tries to attack her with all his power, but he gets blocked by Renji, which infuriates him. Renji thanks Rhyming for standing up for him and tells her he'll take it from there. He challenges Kang and Kang gets angry with him too and accepts the challenge by attacking him immediately. Renji blocks his attacks and takes Rhyming off the stage while dodging. He passes her to Mingju, which makes the students cheer for him. As the fight continues, Renji keeps dodging Kang, which makes him and the students there wonder why he doesn't counterattack. He doesn't want to counterattack because he only knows cult kung fu. If he uses it, he'll expose his identity. His father told him to never use it because he was too skilled in this style. When he was growing up, many cult members taught him their special skills, and some of the elders transferred their kai to him in order to protect themselves. He's now the most skilled and strongest member of cult, even stronger than his father, the darklord. He asked what to do if people kept bullying him. His father replied that he should slap them, so Renji slaps Kang so hard that he goes flying. Kang is shaken and instantly recognizes the slap skill as that of the cult's Lust Queens. The World Oblivion slap, which was very famous. He realizes that Renji is a cult member. He gets up and tries to bust him, but before he can, he gets overwhelmed by lust. This is a special feature of the slap. It makes anyone who gets slapped to be tortured by lust, which causes their kai to leak out uncontrollably. When Kang's kai leaks out, he faints and writes cult with his finger on the ground, but no one sees it. The students are extremely impressed with Renji to care about Kang. They praise him and toss him in the air. Right then, a gong sounds to announce the arrival of Yu, the Dean of Discipline Department. Mingju immediately introduces herself to him, but he ignores her and goes to Kang. He's disgusted by him for getting defeated by a freshman. He tells the students that they have information about a cult disciple being among them. He asks that the disciple reveal himself if he wants to die a dignified death. Renji starts to panic once more. Yu says that since a freshman beat up Kang, he must be the cult disciple. Mingju jumps in to defend Renji and explain that Renji is strong because of the kai he got from the headmaster. But Yu says he can smell the cult stench on him, which terrifies Renji. He then calls the witness that can point out the cult disciple. Yu's assistants called runners bring in Cyan, who's behind is in pain, in a stretcher. Yu asks him to point out the cult disciple, and he immediately gets off the stretcher to crawl to Renji. He doesn't say that Renji is the cult disciple. He's just happy that he's safe. He explains that there was cult poison on the silk scarf Renji gave him. He suspects that a cult member wanted to hurt Renji and poisoned the scarf. Yu explains the type of poison that was used, which is exclusive to cult. It's colorless and odorless, but can be very deadly when touched. Renji thinks about it and realizes that the poison is actually a sauce they invented for grilled fish. He and Lee used a mixture of chilies with other ingredients to make a sauce that was appropriate for his father, Bashan the darklord. After he became a fish, he became deathly allergic to the regular fish sauce, so they made an extract which was colorless and odorless to make it less strong and smell good. Renji uses the same sauce too because he cooks for his father. So, he packed it for lunch when he came to the academy, and somehow it spilled onto the scarf. And Cyan used that scarf to wipe with and burn from the chili. Mingju believes what Cyan is saying and also thinks Renji was targeted. Yu thinks about the people he knew who used the poison and immediately attacks some bushes behind them. Lee appears, still in his women's clothing. He knows Yu, they've probably fought in the past. Renji is nervous to see him, and Yu attacks him for causing trouble. They go back and forth exchanging strikes, and Lee ultimately leads Yu away from the area. The runners announce the test results and place the students in their respective classes. Mingju makes it to the top class and hopes that Renji will make it there too, because he even defeated Kang. Many other students get placed in the advanced class, but Renji gets placed in the problem class, which he didn't even know existed. This shocks everyone, especially because they know that Renji doesn't deserve it. The problem class is located in the most unappealing corner of the academy, where all the glory of the school doesn't reach. It's the shabbiest building of all with weird and ugly features. There aren't many students in the class, but there are the weirdest ones. There's one boiling himself to cultivate better. Kultum is also a part of this class. He was somehow spared, but he has changed the cult character on his clothing to Cup to avoid trouble. Cyan is also a part of the class and is happy to see Renji. He goes over to him and Renji asks him if he's familiar with the school and if he finds the problem class weird. However, Cyan gets distracted by the boiling student, Dali, and goes over to watch him. When he asks Renji what he finds weird, Renji says nothing. deciding to let it go because Cyan is clearly weird too. Renji hears rhyming behind him. She is also part of the class and addresses them all because they don't have a teacher yet. Each one of them is just doing their own thing, and she doesn't like that. She wants to be their head teacher to have them be organized. Renji was hoping she would be the most normal one in the bunch, but she's clearly not. She wants to teach them the unique skills of the Sunflower sect. Right then, Yu arrives and scolds them for making too much noise. He deducts 6 points from rhyming for throwing shells of seeds earlier and for standing on the podium. All the students in the school have points which can determine whether they pass their class or not. These are called moral points. Those with points below 0 are placed in the problem class and will be severely disciplined since they are underachievers. If 100 points are deducted from them, they will get expelled. This makes rhyming a little obedient and sit down. Yu starts to deduct points from the other students as well. Cyan for using the bushes as a toilet, Dolly for using the pot he's boiling in, and having a girlfriend named Pinger, one of the other students. Jinchi, a blind student, for writing poems instead of doing his test. Another student named Wao2 for sleeping in class and not bathing. He deducts from Kultum for causing trouble with his clothing earlier. And lastly, he tells Renji that injuring a teacher on the first day of school will get him a 100 points deduction. This means that he gets expelled. He then tells the runners to go and get Renji's belongings, which have his poison scarf and his well-known clothes. Renji becomes nervous because they might find out who he is if they put 2 and 2 together and burn him. Cyan protests to this, so does Ryman. They tell Yu that if he wants to expel Renji, he should expel them too. So, Yu tell the runners to get their belongings too. They can all leave. Right then, the door bursts open and one of the runners flies to the wall. Mingju appears and tells Yu that Renji is innocent and can't be expelled. She continues to explain that Renji was forced to beat up Kang. Yu doesn't care though, even if Renji was not at fault, he shouldn't have beat up Kang. Those are the rules of the school. He wants Mingju to also uphold the rules no matter what. And if Renji loves the Justice League, he must accept this too. Mingju doesn't agree with this because the Justice League should be fair in everything and distinguish between right and wrong. Yu gets irritated by her for defying him. He asks if she wants her points to be deducted too. Mingju says yes. She even deducts her own points for defying him and removes her discipline badge, showing that she leaves the position. She assigns herself to the problem class. She doesn't care if it's the Justice League. She will not stand for unfair treatment. Yu reminds her that she's the Martial League's daughter, the future leader. She tells him that she knows she will be disqualified to lead the Martial League, and she's fine with it. Yu becomes extremely annoyed. He tells her to rot in Problems Class 2 before leaving. Renji is touched by Mingju's actions to defend him. He stops Yu to ask him a question. If Cyan is in the bathroom and doesn't have a toilet paper and Rymain goes into the bathroom to give it to him, does she get her points deducted or added because she went into the men's bathroom to help someone? Yu is taken aback by the question and doesn't know how to answer. He says deductive and then changes to added and then back to deducted and added again. He's conflicted and keeps pulling the petals of Rhyming's sunflower clip, trying to decide which one it is. The headmaster arrives to see the students. Yu tells him that he shouldn't have come because the students are unworthy of him. But he explains that King, who is supposed to be the teacher of problem class, is sick, and the substitute has a lot of excuses to take years off the job. So, he came there to check the situation when he suddenly saw a meteor falling towards the class and decided to send it back to space. He assigns Yu to teach the class since he's there already. Yu doesn't want that, and neither does the students. Except for Cyan, he likes Yu because he's the best in the school. The headmaster sees that Mingju is also in the class. Renji tells him that she shouldn't be there, but he trusts Yu's decisions, so it should be fine. He adds 5 points to Renji and Mingju for being friendly towards each other, which annoys Yu. This means Renji can't be expelled anymore. The headmaster then puts them in the same dorm so that they can continue to help each other. Renji is shocked because he's a boy. He'll definitely be found out if he rooms with a girl. Mingju seems fine with the decision. She even says that she's happy to be rooming with Renji alone now, calling him by his title of Little Darklord. This reveals that Mingju knows about Renji's identity. She asks him if he's a boy and if he's an evil cult disciple. Renji is beyond scared. He can't even answer properly. He asks how she found out. He thinks it could because of all the suspicious things he did throughout the day, which includes Lee appearing near him twice. But she found out because she went through his belongings and found his clothes. Renji asks her what she was doing in his belongings. She shows him the dolls she made of the two of them that she wanted to put in his bag. She wanted to surprise him with a keepsake. She asks him what he's doing there disguising himself as a girl. Renji explains that he's there to get the certificate of the good and not to do any evil. But Mingju doesn't believe him. She says that all cult members are liars. She approaches him with her spear ready, making him become on edge and blast out his kai to throw away the spear against the wall. He continues with this and begs her to let him explain and give him a chance to become a good man. Mingju finally agrees as she realizes that his kai is too strong. After Renji explains the situation, she calms down and believes him. She says that he doesn't look like a bad guy because he's been friendly and kind the whole day. But he's still from cults, so she doesn't know what to do. She ultimately decides to report it to the school anyways. Renji begs her not to with his cute pouty face. Mingju likes his face and can't resist it. So, she decides that she will not report him. She will be observing him, and if he's not evil, she will let him get his certificate. Renji is relieved and happy that she'll give him a chance. She then remembers that she kissed him earlier and everyone saw it. She's so embarrassed and is scared that people might find out that she kissed a boy. So, she asks him to continue pretending to be a girl so she doesn't disgrace her sect. Renji agrees. He's happy that not all people in the Justice League are terrible, but he changes his mind when Mingju threatens to clap him and send him to his dad in pieces if he lies to her again. They go to bed and Renji can't sleep. He's thinking about his dad and the mission he must complete. Mingju is also making it hard for him to fall asleep as well. She talks in her sleep and suddenly gets aggressive at the thought of men, throwing her spear around. And then she pulls him close to cuddle him at the thought of cute girls. It's a hot and cold situation that Renji can't let his guard down in. The next day, Mingju feels refreshed after a good night's sleep, but Renji looks like the Walking Dead because he couldn't sleep a wink. They get together with the others and acquaint themselves. As they're doing so, Yu arrives in a bad mood. He doesn't want to teach these students. He tells them that he will teach them with the strictest attitude and in the most rigorous way. He wants to give them another placement test. His tone makes it sound like it's a form of punishment, and his face suggests that he means it. In this test, they will be paired to use Kai to compete with each other within a specified circle. The one who will get knocked out of the circle will lose 5 points, and the winner will gain 5 points. Mingju covertly tells Renji that Yu is the only teacher at the school who teaches Kai, while the others focus on martial skills. Renji becomes worried because of his cult Kai. Mingju tells him that she will compete with him so that he doesn't get found out. Yu appears right beside them immediately and disagrees. He says because Renji has the headmaster's Kai, he will be too dangerous for his classmates, so he must compete with him instead. Renji worries even more. The test starts and Mingju goes first with Jinshi. She's worried about Renji being found out because Yu is a master of Kai who has studied all types of Kai, including cults. If Renji attacks him even once, it will be over for him because Yu will instantly execute him. She passes her test because Jinshi walked out of the circle due to his blindness. The next pair is Kultum and Pinger wins right off the bat. The next one is Cyan and Dolly. They both fight with martial attacks without using their Kai, which makes them both fail. The last pair is Rhyming and Wawatu, the stinky student. Rhyming first starts by reading her sect techniques from a book. So, Wawatu knocks her out of the circle while she's distracted and wins. All the students are just terrible at the test that they have finished it quickly. Yu hopes that Renji won't disappoint him as it's their turn to compete. Mingju worries about Renji, but Renji tells her that it's fine. He walks over to the circle, and Yu enters it too. Yu is still angry at Renji for humiliating him the previous day, and wants to make sure that he gets expelled for real this time. He immediately attacks and Renji defends using the headmaster's Kai, which he has gathered to his palm. Mingju is relieved to see this, but she notices that Yu is still angry. He wants to teach Renji a lesson and continues to attack him. Renji blocks the attack, and Yu increases his Kai to attack him with a more powerful move. He fails to defend himself in time and gets hit, but he withstands it even though it tears his clothes. He then becomes worried that if his clothes come completely off, the others may see that he's a boy. He looks to Mingju for help. Mingju asks Yu how he could destroy a girl's clothes, and Rhyming calls him all sorts of names for this dirty trick. Yu asks Cyan to give his clothes to Renji, which makes Cyan comment that Yu is using dirty tricks to win. Yu gets annoyed and questions Renji for worrying that his clothes are torn. He tells him that if he was fighting a cult member, he wouldn't even get the chance to whine because even a second of distraction would end him. That's how dangerously evil cult is. He asks Renji to treat him as a real cult member. This makes Renji angry because he knows that cult members wouldn't do this. So, he decides to continue fighting in his state. He tries his best to hold Yu's Kai back, but Yu is too strong and keeps pushing him back. If he makes it out the circle, he'll get expelled, and he doesn't want that. Yu notices that Renji is hiding another Kai is his body and asks him to unleash all of it, but Renji refuses. However, he increases his current Kai until it leaves this body and pushes Yu away as it transfers to him. Yu doesn't want to leave the circle and risk adding points to Renji. So, he counters the pushback with an attack to slow himself down. The attack lands on Renji, but Yu has stepped out of the circle, making him the loser. He also loses his hair because the headmaster's Kai is very masculine and will do this to anyone who's not an innocent kid or born with it. The students rejoice for Renji's win, and as he runs to them, his clothes completely fall off, completely exposing him, quite literally. Luckily, Lee appears right then and creates a barrier around Renji and quickly changes his clothes. He then puts on his disguise and asks the students who tore Renji's clothes. Rhyming points him to Yu, who is frozen in shock of his hair loss. Lee goes over to punch him before coming back to tell the students that he's there for them if anyone else bullies them. His disguise is so good that Minju doesn't see through it. She thinks he's a kind woman and is happy for his help. Yu gets up and shamefully credits Renji with his 5 points, making everyone happy. He also lets him know that he hates him so much, and if he ever catches him violating any rules, he will kick him out of the school. He then walks over to Lee, who he doesn't recognize, and gives him his address to send him a wig. He leaves while telling Renji to never attend his class again. After a week, Renji writes to his father telling him how school is and how his classmates are. He's happy with everything, but he's worried he won't pass because he still has minus 90 points. He prays he can pass and get the certificate he needs. Yu arrives in class with his wig on. He scolds Renji for not studying hard enough and having too much fun with dressing up, which is why his points haven't gone up. Renji blames him for this obviously, but he wouldn't say it to his face. Yu then moves on from that and introduces a new girl to the class. Her name is Tang Tang, and she's from the Tang sect and Green City. Everyone in class likes her immediately. Yu then tells them about a new rule that the academy released. It states that anyone who has less than minus 30 points by midterm exams will get expelled. Mingju doesn't buy this because there has never been such a rule before. She thinks Yu is targeting Renji again. But Yu shows them that the document was signed by the headmaster himself, though it looks suspicious. He also says that Tang Tang has minus 60 points too, so the rule also applies to her. He then leaves them to study on their own. Renji doesn't know what to do anymore. He can get expelled again. He hears Mingju saying that she'll help and there's nothing to worry about. But she's not talking to him, she's talking to Tang Tang, which breaks his heart a little. Tang Tang ignores Mingju and walks away. She hits Rhyming out of the way too and gets out of the class. Renji watches her and follows her. She is running after Yu to ask for a mission to earn more points. Renji appears behind her and says that he also wants to apply for a mission. Tang Tang becomes hostile because she was the first to ask and attacks him for it. Yu stops her weapons from attacking Renji and tells her that her points will be deducted if she fights in school. She stops and retrieves her weapons. Yu tells her that the week's point mission is rice reaping, which is a group task. He doesn't believe the problem class can do a group task yet, so he refuses to give them the mission, telling them to wait to be expelled. He then leaves. Tang Tang and Renji return to the class together. Renji tries to be friendly with Tang Tang and tells her that they should ask the whole class to help with the mission. Tang Tang ignores him, but Renji holds her hands and asks to be her friend. Tang Tang asks why and Renji replies that it's because everyone wants to be her friend. They get to class, and before they can say anything, Seiyan loudly says that Tang Tang is a cult member. Everyone is shocked. Renji asks Saiyan how he knows, and he explains that his godfather told him that the leader of the Tang sect and cult collided secretly. The leader then ice-skate himself to avoid punishment. He thinks Tang Tang could be an evil person too, which makes Renji nervous. Renji tells them that if they accuse Tang Tang, and it turns out that she's not evil, they will have wronged her. He knows that being a member of an evil group doesn't mean you are also evil, but everyone has heard things about cult, and they don't want to have anything to do with it or anyone who has associated with it. Mingju doesn't know how to act because Tang Tang is a cute girl. Plus, she's already protecting Renji. She doesn't want to protect any more cult disciples. She just can't make up her mind. They all don't know what to do. Renji runs up to shield Tang Tang and defends her because she wouldn't have been able to enroll at the school if she was a cult girl. He even asks Mingju to back him up, but before Mingju can say anything, Tang Tang says that she doesn't need them to believe her and leaves. The students start to regret their treatment towards her, because it looks like they bullied her. Ryman is smug and thinks Tang Tang is looking down on them. Mingju tells her that it's because the problem class is actually very behind the other classes. They also get less point missions, so increasing points will be hard. The students start to panic and want to go to the mission and focus on increasing their points. They take Renji there, and he finds Tang Tang busy reaping rice. The runner there gives them the mission and allocates 10 plots of rice fields to reap in order to pass the mission. However, Seiyin and the boys are having too much fun running around. Mingju doesn't know how to do it, and Raimang is too small to do it. The only people who are doing anything are Renji, Tang Tang, and Pinger. Renji offers to teach Mingju how to do it because he's a pro since his father is a fish and can't do much for himself. Tang Tang finishes her plot and asks the runner for her points, but he refuses because the whole class must have done all the work. Renji and Mingju witness this and feel bad for Tang Tang. Tang Tang realizes that if she waits for her classmates, she won't finish. So, she uses a cart-like machine to reap the rice on her own a little faster. She wants to get the job done quickly. The others see her new machine and are amazed by it. Renji asks what it is, and Tang Tang remembers that Renji defended her and decides to tell him. They all get the machines to do their job quicker. They end up reaping all the needed rice before sunset and get their points. However, the points are only 10 in total, meaning that each one of them gets 1 point. The runner leaves to submit their result and get their new mission. While he's gone, Seiyin goes to apologize to Tang Tang for what he said earlier. The others also tell her that they were wrong, and Tang Tang becomes happy to hear this. The runner returns with their new mission, which is to go to a bathhouse separately as boys and girls. Renji is shocked to hear this because it means he has to expose himself again. The whole time the students go to the bathhouse, Renji is sweating. He knows he'll be found out no matter where he goes. But then it turns out that the mission is for them to clean the area, not to bath. Renji is so relieved that he doesn't have to take off his. While they help Tang Tang fix her tools, Piner opens one of the water latches, releasing a lot of water into the bath they are all in. They all decided to then take a bath, and Renji is back to panicking again. He tries to leave the bath, but one of Tang Tang's bandages catches on his skirt. When he continues to walk away, his skirt comes off, and he's forced to sit in the water to hide himself. He's terrified, and the others check on him because it shows on his face. Right then, they hear Seiyin loudly speaking, and a knife pokes into their room through the wall. They become worried about the boys and decide to go and help them, leaving Renji and Tang Tang behind. Renji wears his skirt under the water and almost drowns. He pulls Tang Tang's t-shirt to help himself out and accidentally exposes her back, which is covered in scars that she's trying to hide with bandages. Renji tries to ask Tang Tang about her scars, but they hear the boys arguing again. Renji decides to go and see what's happening, but Tang Tang asks him not to go. This is when they hear one of the boys ask Seiyin if Tang Tang is in his class. Tang Tang gets scared and runs out of the room. Renji follows her, and they go into the boys' bathroom. Seiyin is arguing with some boys who want to take a bath first, saying the problems class will dirty the water. Seiyin gets mad and tries to fight them, but gets stopped. Tang Tang goes to the boys and addresses the fat one as Master Shixing. Shixing is from Green City. He pulls out a whip and asks her where she was before hitting her. Renji asks him to stop, but Shixing says that he's just disciplining his servant, it's none of his business. However, Renji makes it his business by intercepting the second hit from Shixing. Shixing pours water on his head, which splashes onto Tang Tang. Renji gets mad and approaches Shixing, but Mingju stops him, because if he fights, he'll lose points. That's what Shixing wants, to get the problem class expelled. He hates Tang Tang, saying she's a cult disciple and deserves to be ridiculed and bullied. Pinger comes with one of the runners who deducts 20 points from Shixing. But Shixing tells him that Tang Tang started it. The runner asks Tang Tang, and Tang Tang says yes. This is how Tang Tang has mostly lost her points, by taking the blame for Shixing. After the runner has left, Shixing continues to bully the problem class, saying that they can't bathe there and should serve him in order to have a better future. Luckily, Yu arrives with the runner to tell Shixing that he's wrong. Shixing tries to justify it, saying that the school is wasting resources on the problem class. This makes Raiming so angry that she wants to fight him. However, Yu tells her that fighting is prohibited, but duels are fine. The problem class are happy with this, and gets Shixing is scared. He says he wants to choose his opponent because he doesn't want to bully anyone. Yu agrees, so he looks for a weak girl that he can easily win against. He chooses Renji because the others look fierce. This surprises them because they know he picked the wrong one. Renji accepts, and Shixing tells him that he will use one of his servants to do the fighting. The servant is Tang Tang. Renji doesn't want to fight Tang Tang, and Tang Tang is scared of Shixing to back out. Yu notices this and tells them that if a duel is not fought seriously, then it's meaningless. According to school rules, they have to fight seriously to help each other's skills. He proposes that the loser will lose 10 points, while the winner gains 10 points. This means Renji will get expelled if he loses. He also tells them that martial arts are prohibited because they will damage school property, which makes Mingju panic because Renji no longer has the headmaster's Kai. Renji also realizes this, and he doesn't want to hurt Tang Tang. Shixing promises to give Tang Tang the thing she wants the most if she wins, or else he'll submit it to the school. Tang Tang becomes serious, clearly wanting whatever it is. The match begins and Tang Tang attacks Renji with her tools. Renji dodges every one of them and holds Tang Tang's hands to stop her from controlling them. She whispers in his ear that he should hit her. He's confused and gets hit by one of the tools and falls down. When he gets up, he wants to ask Tang Tang what she needs, but she tells him to not say anything. She keeps attacking, and he keeps dodging while thinking about how they both want to win to stay at the school. Tang Tang uses a smoke bomb to give Renji the chance to hit her, but Renji can't bring himself to do so. He feels sorry about her situation, even though he really wants to win. Tang Tang tells him that she wants to cherish the memories they made with the class because she likes them. She then causes a large explosion which blinds the others for a second. When the smoke subsides, they all find that Renji has Tang Tang in his hands, seemingly having won against her. Yu doesn't like this outcome because he couldn't see anything, but he gives Renji the 10 points anyways. Shixing tells Yu that he wants to report something. He points at Renji and says that he is a cult disciple, and he has proof. This is a shock to Renji. Mingju asks if he can really prove it, and Shixing says yes. He explains that Tang Tang is not sociable and wouldn't protect someone she just met. The only reason she did that is because they share a sect. Because Tang Tang is a cult disciple. This means Renji is too. The others don't buy this explanation, so Shixing brings out one of the Lust Queen's personal weapons, the fruit fork. Everyone starts to panic because they have heard of the fruit forks, which are rumored to be the forks the Lust Queen used to eat people's hearts. In reality, though, they're just hairpins. Seiyan asks Shixing why he has the pin, and he explains that it belongs to Tang Tang. She was holding on to it when she was found at 3 years old, after her parents ice-skated themselves to escape punishment. Tang Tang wakes up and tells them that the fork is just her mom's hairpin with her name on it, not a cult weapon. But Shixing says that it is the fork, and the name on it is the name of the Lust Queen's younger sister, who was the Tang leader's wife. That is evidence enough. Tang Tang is defeated and doesn't know what to say, making Shixing happy with his reasoning skills. Yu angrily takes the pin from Shixing and scolds him for bringing it to school. He worries that if the remaining cult members come after it, it will put the school in danger. He confiscates it in order to report it. He also tells them that all the students at the school have been inspected by the headmaster in person, so there can't be any cult disciples there. He leaves while telling Shixing that he'll lose points if he slanders the other students again. This makes Shixing so angry because the pin is his property and wants to report the matter to his dad. He tells the problem class that he will crush them one day before leaving. Renji and Mingju help Tang Tang up, but Saiyan and 4 other students refuse to associate with her because of her cult status. Mingju tries to defend her, but the others tell her that they want to think about it first. Renji feels bad because the others don't actually hate Tang Tang, they just can't accept that she's a cult member's child. Tang Tang bows to Renji before running out of there. Renji goes after her, but he searches forever and doesn't find her. He calls out to Lee, who comes out to meet him. He asks him if Tang and his wife were cult disciples, and Lee tells him that the darklord looked up to them. He wanted them so badly. He wanted them to join cult, but they were too good for him, and would hit him every time they met him. So, Tang Tang isn't a cult disciple, because her parents were never associated with cult at all. Mingju arrives and Lee gets away in time. She asks if Renji has found Tang Tang, and he says no. Renji wants to do something and Mingju wants to help him even before she hears it, because she stands for justice no matter what. Tang Tang is a good person, and when good people need help, Mingju won't just stand by and watch. Renji is happy to hear this and tells her his plan. He wears his real clothes and stealthily makes way to Shixing's dorm at night. He listens to Shixing scolding Tang Tang for making him a laughing stock in front of problem class. He then shows her the portrait of Renji, but the face has ink on it. He describes him, but admits to not knowing his face. However, he doesn't care who it is. He wants Tang Tang to take similar clothes to problem class and pick out a random boy to put them on him after knocking him out first. He wants to frame someone as the little darklord and have them expelled. But Tang Tang doesn't want to do that, saying that Renji and the others are her friends. Shixing laughs at her because if they really were her friends, she wouldn't be there with him. He says that they threw her out because they also don't want to be associated with a cult disciple. Tang Tang doesn't care, though. She doesn't want to betray her friends. Shixing slaps her on the face and tells her that she's no longer welcome to Green City as he whips her. He wants her to repay her debt because he and his people took her in and helped her when she had nothing. He even wants her to be the little darklord and get her into trouble. Right then, Renji makes it through the window with his kai and a mask on his face. He slaps Shixing multiple times, but Shixing doesn't understand why. He asks who Renji is and Renji replies that he's the little darklord that Shixing wants to impersonate. He then uses a near-fatal move on him. After, Tang Tang attacks Renji for having destroyed her family. Renji starts to get worried. He runs away, but Tang Tang chases him until they reach the arena where she attacks him. He keeps dodging, but then decides to fight her because she doesn't want to give up. He uses his kai to hit her, sending her to the wall. He then sets the flagpole in the arena on fire, and people quickly see it. They come in numbers to watch. Mingju points out that a cult disciple is fighting against Tang Tang. The others want to go and help her, but Renji doesn't give them the chance as he prepares to attack Tang Tang again. Before he can, the headmaster arrives and protects Tang Tang with his kai in the shape of a bell. Renji stops, and the headmaster along with Yu talk to him. He uses this opportunity to break the bell with his kai, creating a cloud of dust to mask himself and Tang Tang. Tang Tang is scared and tries to continue fighting, but Renji holds her hand and tells her to him. Tang Tang then realizes that it's him and cries on his shoulder. Her bomb's exposed on the spot, creating even a lot of smoke. Mingju leaves while the others are confused as to what happened. When the smoke subsides, Tang Tang is on her feet while Renji is on the ground, making everyone believe that she defeated him. The others decide to go and attack him while he's still down, but Lee appears and stops them in their tracks. He asks Tang Tang for her name and Sect to declare her an enemy of cult. He pretends to be angry that she defeated Renji and loudly declares that they will forever be enemies. Tang Tang agrees and Lee takes Renji to leave with him. They're both happy to have pulled it off and run away, but the headmaster traps them in his bell. He tells them not to leave yet because they can't just enter and leave the academy as they please. Lee telepathically tells Renji that his kai is not strong enough to break the bell and Renji can't move because he's supposed to be passed out. Renji realizes that the headmaster has seen through their plan and will bust him for sure. He panics, but Lee tells him to not worry and stay still. The headmaster asks them not to move, but Lee tells him that he wants to take Renji to the hospital. The headmaster tells him that if Renji dies, he'll save his soul. Yu comes flying in with his kai, ready to attack them. Lee uses this chance to break the bell with his weapon when Yu's kai touches it. This breaks them out, and they escape with Yu following them behind. The headmaster lets it go and leaves. The others apologize to Tang Tang again for wronging her. They then start suspecting that Renji could be the little darklord because their height, build, and hair are exactly the same. Right then, Mingju arrives to tell them that Renji has been injured by the aftermath of the fight between Tang Tang and the little darklord. This leaves them confused. The headmaster comes on stage to announce that since Tang Tang defeated the little darklord, her points will go from -61 to 0. This makes her friends happy that she will be able to advance to the next class. Even her sect will no longer be known as that which was associated with cult anymore. She is free to go to the advanced class now. Shixing arrives with his bruises and opposes the idea of advancing Tang Tang because she belongs to Green City. She owes them. Tang Tang goes over to punch him to the ground and whip him multiple times, saying she no longer belongs to Green City. She belongs to the Tang sect now. She's the new leader and is a part of the Justice League. She whips him so much that it leaves the other students scared. She then tells the headmaster that she has beat up a student and deserves to stay in the problem class. The headmaster decides to give her what she wants and sends her back to problem class. Her classmates are happy to have her back. Later, Mingju and Renji are back at their dorms and Renji can't sleep. He keeps thinking about how he exposed himself to Tang Tang and tells Mingju, who freaks out. Watch this next video. See you on the next one.